Larry tried to kill me.
Yeah. I was so thoroughly disgusted.
I mean, think about it. Why does it make you special to do what you do?
Packers jumping around. They rush four. Plenty of time for John. Now squeezes, steps up in the pocket. Elway can run inside the 10. Head first. He 5-yard line. My goodness.
Rushing forward, ball comes out of the hands of Newton. It's on the ground, and it's still on the ground. Picked up by T.J. Ward at the 4-yard line.
Also Brian Clady and Bob Miller. Third and long 3. Going deep. Oh, and he's got Thomas. Goodbye. Touchdown.
Here we go. First snap of the overtime. The Broncos have been in 3 overtime games this year. They won them all. Got him at the 40. It's Thomas at the 50. Stifford got him 3 to the 30. To the 20. Thomas to the 10. Difference going on to New England. They win it on the first play of overtime.
Hello, Bronco fans and football fans everywhere. Welcome to Broncos Breakdown on the MHRT Network. This is a show that is everything Broncos and brought to you with emotion, passion, facts, and of course, my comments. I am your host, Bronco Bill. All right, guys. Yes, this is Saturday. This is not the normal day that I'm on Friday. This is Saturday. Had a family situation yesterday, late afternoon, that kept me from really focusing on what I need to bring. And if I'm not focused, it's not fair to you guys. So I just couldn't do it. So I pushed it back to today. Everything's better. No major issues. So that's why this show, instead of being Friday, is now tonight at 5:00. Okay. Just a reminder, in case anybody has forgotten or didn't know, that tonight we need to change our clocks forward. For those people watching in different states, I know certain states don't do it. I don't know where everybody is, but the states that do change to daylight savings time, this is the night you need to do it. Or unless you want to do it 2 a.m, but who wants to wake up at 2 a.m. and do it? Okay, just a reminder, so that way you guys won't be late wherever you need to be tomorrow. All right. Hey, Ray, nice to have you in the house, man. What's going on, Ray? The reason why I'm wearing an Avalanche hat, by the way, Ray, is I haven't seen Avatar, and he's usually my Avalanche scoreboard. If anybody out there has got an Avalanche update, the Avalanche game is being played right now. It started at 3 p.m. my time, which is Pacific time. It's now a little after 5. So they were just going into the third period. I have no idea what the score is. It was 2-2 right before I came on. So anyway, anybody out there, keep me informed. I'd really appreciate it. That's why I got the Avalanche hat on. Okay. All right. Let's get into the first topic for tonight. It's a very sad news. So let me just get right to it. Legendary head coach and Pro Football Hall of Famer Bud Grant of the Minnesota Vikings has passed away today at the age of 95. Let me just read a little bit about Bud Grant. This guy was an absolutely phenomenal head coach in the 60s and 70s for the Vikings. The Vikings went to 4 Super Bowls in the 70s. Yes, they lost all 4, but they still went. And they were dominant in the NFC. Well, back then it was the NFL. But they were dominant. And the point I'm trying to make is, I know it's not a Broncos head coach or whatever. It doesn't matter. He was instrumental into the NFL. Listen to this. A member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame class of 1994, Grant built the Vikings into a dominant bunch of marauders where the NFL/NFC Central was concerned. In an 11-season span from 1968 to 1978, Grant's Vikings sailed to 10 Central Division titles. That's insane. That's insane. If you want to make it more personal, so to speak, the Kansas City Chiefs have won 5 or 6 in a row. Bud Grant's Vikings won 10. That's crazy. That's crazy good. All right, I continue. In total, Grant coached 18 NFL seasons, all with the Vikings, and compiled a 158 wins, 96 losses, and 5 ties. Yes, guys, they could have ties back in those days. They didn't have overtime thing. And that record still stands as the winningest coach in Minnesota Vikings history. In this time with Minnesota, Grant's Vikings earned 12 playoff berths and 11 division titles. That's crazy. That is crazy good. Crazy good. I continue. Let me give a little bit more about Bud Grant. The reason why I say this, and I know it's, like I said, I know it's not about the Broncos, but you have to understand that when it comes to the NFL and legendary coaches like a Hank Stram or John Madden or a Bud Grant or a Don Coryell, they changed the game of the NFL. They literally changed the game of football as we know it today. So let me continue. History still holds Grant. Are you ready for this? I didn't know this until I read this right before, not right before I come on the show, but earlier today. Anyways, history still holds Grant as the only person to have played in the NFL, CFL, and the National Basketball Association. What? Bud Grant? An NBA player? Wow, that's crazy. I continue. Drafted by the NBA's Minneapolis Lakers. Now, a lot of people think that the LA Lakers are the original Lakers. No, they started in Minnesota. That's why they're called the Lakers, because Minnesota they're known as a state of 10,000 lakes. Not LA, more like 10,000. Well, never mind. Drafted by the NBA's Minneapolis Lakers and the NFL's Philadelphia Eagles in 1950. Grant would eventually play for both teams before moving on to play for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in the CFL. Following his playing career with the Blue Bombers, Grant became their coach, and a legendary one at that, leading the Blue Bombers to 6 Grey Cup appearances and 4 Grey Cup championships. Wow. You talk about a legend that transformed the Minnesota Vikings, transformed the NFL in his own way, and played in the NFL, played in the CFL and the National Basketball Association. Wow. I really like it. I think most of you know, if you don't, you're going to hear it now. I was a Vikings fan from 1970 to 1976. And then I became a Broncos fan due to my older sister. And if you don't know the story, then maybe I'll share it again down the road. But in any case, I've been a Broncos fan, solid Broncos fan ever since. But the Vikings are still my NFC team. But whether they are or they're not. But what Bud Grant did for the NFL and for the Vikings and just in general, just an amazing guy, passed away yesterday at the age of 95. Bud Grant, man, what an amazing career, an amazing legendary head coach, 18 seasons with one team. And his only NFL team that he ever coached, the Minnesota Vikings. I'll bet you this coming season, they wear a patch right up here that says Grant. But Grant, May you rest in peace. Man. All right. Let's move on. All right. Let's go to the Denver Broncos. Well, before I do that, let me go into chat and just Ray says the score is still 2-2. Good. Just keep me posted, man, because I would love to have my tablet right next to me, but it would throw the show off, and I'm not going to do that to you guys. I'm not going to do it to myself either. Avatar, what's happening, man? Nice to have you, man. Always nice to have you. Both you and Ray keep me informed on the Avalanche game. I know last time I checked, Ray confirmed it was 2-2. So good. We need to win this game. We need to win a lot of games. We need to make the playoffs. All right, I move on. Locker room needs fixing in Broncos country. Well, the team. The on-field production last season was a mess, but problems festered beyond that. Things between Wilson and teammates boiled over last Christmas Day when Dalton Reisner and Brett Rippon got into it on the sidelines. Rippon challenged the offensive line for not picking Wilson up off of the turf after a sack. New head coach Sean Payton will need to get Wilson corrected and fixing the poor morale and direction in the Denver Broncos locker room. Absolutely. You cannot have a dysfunctional locker room if you expect to have a championship team or a playoff team or a winning season team. You can't. Because here's the problem. It only takes, well, I'm going to go to a Michael Jackson song. One bad apple, or was that the Jackson 5? Anyways, one bad apple doesn't spoil the whole bunch. Yes, it does. Absolutely it does. You put a little bit of arsenic into a dish that you're gonna serve people. Yeah. Nobody's ever said, "Oh, I got this big mass, I can't do it." No, it starts small. Yes, one apple, one dysfunctional person in a locker room can ruin the entire locker room. And Sean Payton needs to correct this. Sean Payton, say what you want about Sean Payton. He's a great head coach. I'm not taking anything away from that. What I am saying is this. Sean Payton walked into an absolute hornet's nest with this team. He really did. He has a new ownership, which is great. He has a new GM. He has a new organization. He's in the AFC for the first time. He's in AFC West, which is very challenging division, or has been. And he's got to deal with Russell Wilson. He's got to deal with the locker room issue. That takes a strong man to be able to do that. That takes a very, very strong person to just compartmentalize everything and just focus. That's why he's a head coach, because he's that dang good. All right. Wait a minute. Uh-oh. No, Glenn, I know where this comes from. This comes from a text that Mike Madungus Creevy sent me today, and I bought it hook, line, and sinker. And he told me it was a joke. So, no, not Mark Sanchez. No, that's not going to happen. Let's see. Ray says Sean Payton will fix it or start giving folks the axe. Yeah, but man, I'll tell you what. Well, you know what, Ray, you're definitely on spot, because Sean Payton said in his press conference when he was introduced as the new head coach, he said this team's not going to be for everybody. So he's absolutely right, and so are you. That if he can't fix it, he'll just get rid of them. And he'll get people in here that want to work hard, that want to build this team into a playoff team, into a contending team, into a championship team, hopefully. That's the idea. Some people play the game for money, but most people should play the game for being the best that you can be. Champions, Super Bowl champions, holding that trophy, saying we're the best of the best. And if you don't want to be down that road, you don't want to give it all that effort, Sean Payton's not going to hang on to you. All right. I go to Chris Sims. Yeah. Chris Sims, the son of Phil Simms. Here it is. Chris Simms bets Sean Payton will add size up front to protect Russell Wilson. In an interview with 9 News Denver, Simms said, and I quote, "It will be hard, tough love, but also rebuilding Russell's confidence with, if you listen to me and everything I say, this all is going to work out. You're going to hit open receivers and every and be aware, and he'll do a good job of not putting it all on Russell Wilson. The number one thing is a run-stopping defense and an unbelievable size on the offensive line. The last decade," end quote. Excuse me. "The last decade in New Orleans, they were able to run the ball, protect Drew Brees the very same way by running the ball." And quoting again, "In the words of Payton's first attempt to remedy a Broncos team that has suffered through 6 straight losing seasons is not all about Russell Wilson." End quote. It's not all about Russell Wilson. It can't be all about Russell Wilson. We have way too many holes after last season and those people that are departing, and I'll get into that in a minute. Russell Wilson was a problem last year, but was it because of Hackett? Was it because it was the whole system that Hackett wanted to run just didn't mesh with what Russell Wilson wanted to do? We saw what the last 2 games did. When we had Rosberg in there, Russell Wilson was free to do what Russell Wilson does best, and the Broncos had a chance to win both those games. It's not all about Wilson. It's about the offensive line. It's about getting people healthy like Tim Patrick and others. It's about defense. It's about running the ball. And I'll get into that in a little bit as well. So, I mean, there's a lot of variables. I mean, there's so many new things happening in the last several years that you just kind of like shake your head and go, what direction are we going into? Because lately things haven't worked. All right. Hey, Bubba, what's going on, man? I can't call you what Madungus called you, so I'm just going to call you Bubba Gonzalez because that's what I do. He has the old other nicknames, and we'll just go with that. Bubba, and always nice to have you guys in the house. Always love having the regulars. Really appreciate it. It's not all about me. It's not no, it's not all about me. It's not. But thanks, Madungus, but appreciate it. But it's not. Let's see. D-Generation. Hey, nice to have you. D-Generation X. Nice to have you in the house. It's never been about Drew Lock. It's never been about Teddy Bridgewater. We were never just a quarterback away from and I'm assuming, the team, the playoffs, whatever. No, it wasn't about Drew Lock and it wasn't about Teddy Bridgewater, but it is about if you have a great quality quarterback, okay, if you trade, I mean, look at Brock Purdy of the 49ers. Nobody expected him to get in the game or even see any significant playing time, and yet he takes them to the playoffs. So it is about the quarterback, but it's about a quarterback that gets it, that gets the system, that gets, works with the receivers, understands the playbook, all of that. It has everything to do with the head coach and the quarterback getting in sync. That never happened with Hackett. I think and feel deeply inside it's going to happen with Sean Payton because Sean Payton did it with Drew Brees. He's not going to let Russell Wilson just stand out there on the island. That's not why he was brought in as the Broncos head coach. It's not going to happen. He's going to make Russell Wilson a better quarterback. He's going to give Russell Wilson the tools he needs, and he's also going to protect him with the guys up front on the offensive line, and he's going to have plays called that benefit Wilson, not hinder him like Hackett did. Hackett put Wilson in a box, okay? In a little tiny box. Sean Payton's going to go, shh. Now, this is your box. Make something happen. It's common sense, guys. It's common sense. You don't take somebody who does something great and take it away from them. Stupid. Absolutely stupid. Okay. Speaking of, Glenn said something I got to talk on. What's this about? Last thing Bill felt deeply inside. Oh my gosh. You know, if anybody wants to know what that's about, you're gonna have to go back to the neighborhood. And was it the neighborhood? No, yes, it was the neighborhood, I believe. I can't remember, but I think it was the neighborhood. But thanks a lot, Glenn. Yeah. Thanks a lot. There's gonna be a whole lot of questions asked. If nobody knows what that's about, there's gonna be a whole lot of questions asked. What's he talking about? What's that got to do with anything? Bubba says, this is interesting. Bubba says, I heard Rodgers to the Jets for 4 firsts, 2 seconds, and 3/3 plus a fourth. Wow. You talk about mortgaging the farm for the Jets to get 1 Super Bowl chance? Or maybe 2? Wow. I don't know, man. 4, 6, 7, 10. That's 10 picks for one guy? That sounds like the Dallas Cowboys and Minnesota Vikings all over again. Holy smokes. I don't know. I would not do that. I certainly would not do it. Not for an Aaron Rodgers, his attitude. No. Not at all. Okay. Degeneration X says, you didn't understand where I was coming from. The fault wasn't just with Drew Lock. The fault was with Teddy Bridgewater. The fault was ingested with Wilson. Yeah. Okay. I will agree with that. It's not all. And it has a lot to do with the head coaches and the system. It absolutely does. So yeah, I do agree with you. Degeneration X. Thanks a lot for pointing that out. Appreciate it. Tim Patrick. George Payton at the combine said about Tim Patrick, and I quote, "That was a huge loss. You could argue it was one of the biggest losses of the entire season. When Tim got hurt that day, the whole building was deflated. You guys know Tim and what he brings every day. The leader and a really good player." End quote. Payton also said about his progress, and I quote, "He's running now. He's also jogging. I don't know where he'll be back. I don't know when he'll be back in terms of the offseason program, but next season, certainly he'll be back 100%. I got reservations on that. I have reservations on it. And I mean, obviously, George Payton's in the house. I mean, he knows what's going on. So I'm not saying I know any more than George Payton does, because I'm not there. And I'm not as qualified as George Payton. What I am saying is this. When you tear an ACL, it is tough to come back. It really is. I mean, he makes these cuts on the field that are like dimes, on a dime making that cut. And I also know that I've heard, from other, interviews of players and stuff after they've had a restructured or a fixed ACL surgery, that they're actually better than they were before it ever tore. Okay, that may be true, but everybody's different. Everybody plays the game differently. Tim Patrick cuts on a dime. This guy is good. He leaps up for balls. He comes down hard. So I'm really, really hoping that George Payton is correct. And I'm really, really hoping that Tim Patrick does come back solid. We need Tim Patrick. Absolutely. I mean, think about it, guys. Tim Patrick is our number 1 receiver. At least in my mind, he is. And then followed by Jerry Jeudy and maybe Courtland Sutton. But you got to have a Tim Patrick. Otherwise, instead of going from here with his speed and his ability and everything, now you drop down a little bit. Can't have that. Can't have that. All right. Let's see. Glenn says, Peyton also said Javonte will be ready for the start of the season. I don't know anyone. I don't know anyone who thinks that will happen. I certainly don't. No. I agree with you, Glenn. I don't see that at all. And the reason why I don't see that is because of this. An ACL is one thing. An ACL and MCL, frankly, I've never heard of both of those being torn on the same exact play. I've never heard that. And I've also read on it where it takes anywhere from 12 to 16 months to get back into, close to what you were before. Now, an ACL, I understand it can actually bring you back to what you were before or a little better. I'm not sure about an MCL. I don't know that much about it. But, man, I mean, to lose a Javonte Williams if he comes back, and what I mean by losing is losing his ability to do what he did in his rookie year. When he had all of this promise, all of this, the accolades, all of the records for Broncos or maybe the NFL. I mean, the guy was just that good. And then to have that and suffer that catastrophic injury, I don't even know if he'll come back 80%. I really don't. I hope he comes back 100%, but I'm not guaranteeing it. I'm going to say maybe 80, 85. And I'm not sure that's good in the NFL. Not with these defenses that we have now. I just don't know. Okay, let's go. Hey, welcome, Clayton Heron. Nice to have you in the house. Appreciate it. In free agency, do we be aggressive or hold back in a draft, trade back or trade up? We only have a third round draft pick. So I'm not, are you talking free agency, hold back, draft? Free agency. I say we have to be aggressive. We have to be aggressive on the offensive line for sure. Because I'll get into some cuts. I'm about ready to get to that here in a second. So this will be the last text that I pull up right now. But I say we have to be aggressive as far as free agencies on the offensive line for sure. We have to show up to the offensive line. We can't allow Russell Wilson to be knocked down as many times as he was last year. That's unacceptable. Can't happen. Cannot happen. So move up in the draft. Well, we only got a third round draft pick to start our draft picks. So I'm not too sure we're going to be able to draft up. The only way we're going to be able to do it is if we trade somebody. And I'm not really willing to let any Bronco players go unless they're on the list I'm about ready to say, which I'm going to have some comments about that too. All right, let's move on. Draymond Jones. As expected, the Broncos did not place the franchise tag on Draymond Jones. That would have been at least, are you ready for this, guys? If he'd have been franchise tags, the Broncos would have been held responsible to pay him at least $18.94 million or maybe even $19.73 million for 2023. That is per 9 Sports News Denver. That is astronomical. So I don't, like I said, I don't like to see any Bronco players leave, but I'm not sure Draymond Jones is worth 18 and 19. Maybe he is. Maybe a lot of you guys out there think he's worth that money. I mean, I don't have any problem with it. I just want to know what direction. Why would they franchise tag him? Where is that franchise tag going to go if they don't want to get it on Draymond Jones? And does Draymond Jones walk? Or does he? I mean, obviously, there's going to be teams out there that are going to want him. He's a really, really good, solid player, defensive player. Absolutely. But the thing is Denver did not franchise tag him. Why? Why would they not franchise tag him? If they didn't, because obviously they didn't, or they're not going to, who do they have in mind to franchise tag? And who do they have in mind in putting him somebody else's place? Who would that be? What was he a bad fit for the new defensive coordinator? I mean, not new per se. I mean, it's Vance Joseph, but was he a bad fit? What's the reason? Is it all money? Of course it is. Of course it's all money. I mean, for the most part. I just don't know what direction they're going to go into now. All right. Let's see. Oh man, we got a lot of comments in the chat. Let's go. Oh wow, this is interesting. D Generation X says J.K. Dobbins for Baltimore's running back had the same injury as Williams had, and it's been 3 years and he's still not the same. Oh man. D Generation X, you did not have to bring that to my attention. I really didn't want to hear that tonight. But I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, we have to go after running back. I'm getting into that in a little bit too. It's just I don't know. It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking for such a young guy, had so much potential. And I know I'm jumping ahead of the gun because I really don't know if he's going to be different and come back 100%, maybe even stronger. Just not likely. Just not likely. Ray Haas says, I think it's the same thing Barkley from the Giants was injured with. Took him a season and a half, almost 2 seasons to get back. That's what I'm saying. It's my fear. That's my biggest fear. All right. Ooh, shoot. Let me get out of this. Okay. Almost did something. Almost did something stupid. Okay. Glenn expands on the non-franchising tag on Draymond Jones. We didn't franchise tag him, mostly like to stay in his good graces. He has been upset with the Broncos reportedly due to the Chubb trade, which was a great trade, by the way. So basically, Glenn, what you're saying is he's upset because we traded Bradley Chubb, and so the Broncos did him a favor by not franchise tagging him, pissing him off even more. Okay, all right, I get it. But then what happens? Did Draymond Jones walk? Obviously he does. So that's not a good thing. So I don't know. It's not really. I mean, it is what it is. It's a catch-22. You know, you franchise tag him, he's gonna be even more mad. You got rid of Bradley Chubb, and now he's even more mad. Yeah. I thought your biggest fear was eating dinner after 4 p.m. No, not really. Not really. But hey, I'm not quite that senior citizen, Glenn. Not quite there yet. All right. Let's go to some Broncos cuts. The Denver Broncos have released running back Chase Edmonds, offensive guard Graham Glasgow, and cornerback Ronald Darby. Denver saves $5.9 million on Edmonds, $11 million on Glasgow, and $12.7 million on Darby. Good moves. Mixed emotions. I mean, I know Darby wasn't, a stellar cornerback last year. I like Chase Edmonds. I like Chase Edmonds a lot. And I really like Graham Glasgow. I don't want to see either one of those go. Like I said before, I don't like to see any Broncos player gone when they're wearing orange and blue. I don't want them to go to another team and be better or be successful on that team. I don't want it. Even when Shannon Sharp left and went to Baltimore years ago in the 90s, I didn't want Shannon Sharp to go to Baltimore. I couldn't stand Baltimore. Then when they won the Super Bowl, I was happy for Shannon Sharp, but I didn't want Baltimore to be successful but Shannon Sharp's different. Shannon Sharp's a Denver Bronco legend. Thank goodness he came back in the whole bit. But anyways, I don't like to see players leave unless I really don't like them. So, I mean, that being said, I like Chase Edmonds. I really do. And I like Graham Glasgow. I don't know why. I mean, I know why they did it for money. I mean, obviously, this is a business. You're going to try and get the best for the least amount of money. I get that. But at some point in time, you got to pay the Pied Piper. And the Broncos are not willing to do that with Glasgow or with Chase Edmonds. Maybe it doesn't fit in the new offensive scheme of Sean Payton. I don't know. Man, why get rid of offensive? I mean, excuse me. Why get rid of an offensive lineman? Those are the people you freaking need. Why get rid of them? I don't know. I don't get it, man. Let's see. Okay, but Glenn, he has to clear waivers, correct? He does have to clear waivers, and I don't know. Let's see. Chase Edmonds was what, 5.9 million? You think he's going to drop? He was due 5.9 million, and you think he's going to drop to 1.5 or 2? Whew, that's a steep drop, man. That's a steep drop. I don't know. Well, sure. I mean, if he clears waivers and such, and then Denver offers him 1.5 or 2, you think he's really going to take it? That's less than half of what he was going to get. Well, if he still wants to play, I guess so. But man, that's crazy. Glenn also said Darby did a great job before the knee. Again, that's what I'm saying. Knee injuries, ACLs, MCLs, whatever the issue may be, you don't come back the same. You just don't. And that's the fear I have with these players of the Broncos that have ACLs. It's just, it's heartbreaking. It really is. Salary, Glenn said the salaries are way too high. Yeah, I agree. But I mean, if that's what the NFL is saying, if you franchise tag or whatever they're doing stuff, I mean, they're the one that signed a contract, for heaven's sakes. You sign a contract knowing that the third or fourth year is going to be this. I mean, what do you expect? I mean, sure, that's why they're releasing, because they don't want to pay it. But in a way, it's kind of like chicken crap. If you think about it, I mean, you're willing as a GM to sign a player for $2 million this year, $3 million this year, $4 million this year, and $5 million this year. And then you let him go after $4 million because you don't want to pay it. I mean, you're the one that agreed to it. You're the one that set it up. Oh my gosh, it's a cat and mouse game. It really is a freaking cat and mouse game, is what it is. It is, and it's sad. It's sad that it's like that, but it just boggles my mind, man. It really does. It's like moving the old proverbial shells. What ball's under the shell? It's like whatever. Yes, we did free up $30 million with them, all combined. Yeah, that's very, very true. And I know that's what Denver needed, because they don't have any draft picks, for heaven's sakes, because it all went to Seattle and elsewhere. So yeah, no, I totally get it, Glenn. I totally get it. And I understand, like I said, it's a business and it's all about money. I get it. But man, I just don't know. I just don't know if NFL players these days are willing to take less than half of what they could have gotten. Some of them can, and that's all well and good. I commend them. If they want to play the game, that's great. That's great. All right. Hey, Keith O'Donnell, nice to have you in the house. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for your comments. Von Miller came back after his first ACL tear and won Super Bowl. Well, okay. There's always what's the old saying? There's always I forget what I'm trying to say. There's always two sides of a coin, or there's always something like that to be said, which is good. Yeah, he did come back. Von, I don't know, but being on the defensive end, do they really cut like a running back or a wide receiver? Yeah, well, they may not cut and stuff, obviously, but they're sure using their legs, because that's how they have to drive past the offensive line. So yeah, you're absolutely right there, Keith. You're absolutely right when it comes to that. Yeah, they do have to have their legs and knees and strength and all that. You're very, very true. There you go, Glenn. That's what I'm trying to say. Exception to the rule. See, that's why I got you guys. That's why I appreciate you guys in here. You're the ones that, correct me when I freaking have a brain fart or something. So it was all good. Okay, let's go to Leonard Floyd. Speaking of players the Broncos need, the Los Angeles Rams, as expected, are ready to release outside linebacker Leonard Floyd if they can't trade him first. George Payton had strong interest in Floyd 2 years ago. Floyd has had at least 9 sacks in the past 3 seasons. Do the Denver Broncos go after Leonard Floyd? In my opinion, absolutely. But at what cost? Does that mean Josie Jewell's not going to be there? Singleton's not going to be there. I mean, what does that mean? I would love to have a Floyd on there. Why not? Why not? And that's the question I'm asking you guys. Why would we not want to have a Leonard Floyd? Is it because we're too saturated in linebackers? Or does it mean we have to give up a Josie Jewell or Singleton, of which I don't want to give up either? Not at all. Or any other linebacker we got that, Leonard Floyd would cause to leave. I don't want that. Not whatsoever. I'm just wondering, would it be something the Broncos should look into? Why not? What's a phone call going to hurt to his agent? Hey, like to bring in Leonard Floyd for an interview, see what he thinks. Hey, why not? If they release him, why not? And yeah, I agree. That's what I'm saying. I definitely want Singleton to come back. Absolutely. That guy was amazing last year for the Broncos. Absolutely amazing. In my opinion, he was the MVP of the linebackers. I know that they don't do individual positions per se, but in my opinion, Singleton should have been the Broncos MVP of the linebackers. He was outstanding, amazing, absolutely amazing. All right. Speaking of other players released, wide receiver was released. The Minnesota Vikings have released Adam Thielen after a decade with the team. Thielen has had issues staying on the field with multiple injuries. Again, should the Broncos go after Adam Thielen? Why not? I've heard rumors that Cortland Sutton may be traded. I've heard rumors that Jerry Jeudy may be traded. Well, if Tim Patrick comes back, but he's not 100%, why not pick up an Adam Thielen? He's a veteran. He knows how to play football. He knows how to be a wide receiver. He's had many, many key catches in Vikings games. Many. Why not bring him in? Hey, we brought in a Brandon Stokely when he was, long in the tooth, so to speak, in football years. Why not bring in Adam Thielen? You could probably get him for pennies on the dollar. Why freaking not? Why not? Put him on, sign him and see what he can do in the preseason and such. I think he would be great on the Broncos. Absolutely be great on the Broncos. Okay, let's say the Broncos trade a Cortland Sutton. Just throwing that out there, okay? Let's say we trade a Cortland Sutton. Now you have a Tim Patrick. You don't know if it's 100%. You won't find that out until you go into OTAs, or not even then, preseason. Thank goodness the starters are going to be playing. Hello, Nathaniel Hackett. They're going to be playing in the preseason, so you're going to be able to see a Tim Patrick and a Jerry Jeudy, and KJ Hamler. Why not put in Adam Thielen? Why not bring him in and see what he can do? Wouldn't hurt. Absolutely would not hurt. I would be 100% in favor of that. Hands down. No questions asked. No questions asked. Put him in there. Sign him right now. Why not? We signed Brandon Stokely, and he didn't do too bad, did he? Not too bad. All right. Let's see. What? Avatar would still be on the roster if you could have your way. Avatar? Yeah, okay. Not sure. I'm missing something there. But it's okay. Okay. Degeneration X. I will get into that Travis Henry topic in just a little bit. In fact, I got one more, and then I have the Derrick Henry. You said Travis Henry. Okay, I'm talking about a different one. Okay, I don't know. Travis Henry for Sutton. I don't know. I'm a big Cortland Sutton fan. I always have been. I don't know. That's not a bad move. That's not a bad choice. I don't know. I still like Cortland Sutton. I really do. Like I said, I don't want anybody going. Yeah, that's what I was wondering. You said Avatar. I'm like, okay, no, Atwater. No, you're absolutely right. Atwater. Oh yeah, no doubt. Steve Atwater was amazing, amazing. Yeah, I love Atwater. Absolutely love Atwater. He was one of my favorite. He was one of my favorite players on the Denver Broncos, hands down by far. That hit he made in Super Bowl 32 and knocked out 2 players, including himself. Yeah. What a great player. All right, Derek Carr. Derek Carr leaves the AFC West. He leaves the AFC. And the New Orleans Saints have signed Derek Carr to a 4-year deal this past Monday. At the time of this report, terms of his salary were not available. The Las Vegas Raiders let Carr walk, and therefore the Saints didn't have to give Vegas any assets or players. Stupid move by McDaniels. But then us Bronco fans, Broncos country, knows all about McDaniels. He didn't want who's that guy? He let go to the Bears. Starts with the C. Dadgummit. Why can't I think of his name? Some I know Glenn in the chat will let me know who it is. Anyways, he didn't want him around. I mean, what I don't know what it is about quarterbacks that Josh McDaniels doesn't like. He doesn't like any quarterback. He doesn't like any quarterback that he inherits, I guess. I don't know, man. It's just I just don't get him. But it's really good for the AFC West. Thank you very much. It's good for the Broncos because who knows where they're going to go for quarterback. Jay Cutler. There you go. I knew it started with the C. Glenn, thank you very much. I'll put you up there just so you recognize. See, Jay Cutler. See, I knew it started with the C. Just, I don't know why. I kept thinking of Cousins or I was even thinking of Castle, Matt Castle. Where'd that come from? I knew we didn't. I knew that one in. All right. I go to Derrick Henry. The Tennessee Titans are shopping running back Derrick Henry, with the Broncos releasing several players to create cap space and money. Could the Broncos and should the Broncos be a serious contender to get Derrick Henry? I say absolutely no question. Hands down, yes. Make a move. Make an offer. Bring him in. No, why? Why not? Derrick Henry is a beast. And if we have Derrick Henry and we have why am I drawing a blank? I'm drawing a blank again on our other running back. Not Javonte Williams. I mean, hopefully Javonte Williams comes back. But yeah, I mean, if we have a Derrick Henry, that guy is solid. I'm not sure what it would cost. And then bringing this up because this is what I saw. ATG Nat Blake says, what would it cost? I don't know. Yeah, that's exactly the point. We don't know what it costs. But if we got $30 million in cap space because we released 3 players, I'm not going to give him $30 million. But I mean, why not bring him in? Bring him, have him come in. Okay? Have him come in and be there with Murray. Yeah, thanks, Glenn. I knew you'd come up with it, man. I don't know why I'm, maybe it had to do with the incident with family last night. I don't know, but I am focused, guys. I really am focused, and I'm sorry for forgetting some of these names and stuff, but that's why we got guys in the chat to help me out. So I say, why not bring him in? He can definitely be a 1-2 punch with Murray, with Javonte Williams. I know we don't have Chase Edmonds anymore, but I mean he can be in there and solid back. That's what Russell Wilson needs. It's a great running game, and the Broncos need a great offensive line to protect Wilson and to open holes for the running backs. Why not bring in a Derrick Henry? Why not? If Tennessee's willing to let him go or shop him, actually, I don't think they're letting him go. If they're willing to shop him, why not? What's Denver going to have to give up? That's the problem. That's the problem. What's Denver going to have to give up? Is it going to be a Cortland Sutton? Is it going to be a Javonte Williams or a Murray or a Jerry Jeudy, in which I'm not in favor of? Tim Patrick, I'm not in favor of. KJ Hamler, I'm not in favor of. So what's it going to be? That's the problem. That's the problem. And if they're asking the moon and back, I say forget it. Absolutely do not do it. Do not pull that trigger. I don't think George Payton would do that. I don't think I don't think he'd mortgage the farm, but didn't he do that with Russell Wilson? Okay, I don't think he'll do it twice. Hopefully. Cross my fingers that he doesn't do it twice. But no, you can't mortgage a farm to get an aging Derrick Henry. You can't do it. I know he's great. I know he's solid. I know he's good. Just can't mortgage the farm this late in his career. That's what I'm saying. Glenn says Henry's only $10 million trade. Garrett and 5th round pick, and it's essentially a wash. Garrett. Who's Garrett? Trade Garrett. Who's that? Expand on it, because I'm not sure who you mean by Garrett. Sorry about that, Glenn. Let's see. D-Generation X says everybody's saying just a 3rd round pick because he's 30 years old. Okay. I would go for that. I'd go for a 3rd round pick. I mean, it's all we got is a 3rd round pick. So then that drops us out of the 3rd round, puts us in the 4th round. But then you get Derrick Henry. Yeah, I'd say okay. I just don't know if Tennessee would go for that. I'm thinking they may want more collateral. They may want more production than just a 3rd round pick. I'm not sure. Oh, Garrett, duh. Yeah, I'm sorry, Garrett Bowles. Yeah, I say Garrett. But who would want Garrett Bowles? The guy who holds every other play, has a penalty, 5-10 times a game. I'm not sure that a team would want Garrett Bowles. However, I mean, Tennessee may be foolish enough to do it. But a 3rd round pick for Derrick Henry, I think that's good. I think that's a good trade. Sure, like I said, we wouldn't have any picks until the 4th round, but we'd have Derrick Henry. And we'd have Murray. And we'd have, hopefully, 90% Javonte Williams. I think it'd be great. Wow. Titans cut their left tackle. Wow. Okay, let's go get that guy too. I mean, we need players, guys. We need players, and we have the resources and the funds to do it now. Hopefully that happens. Back-to-back 3rd round picks. Glenn, where did we get the second one from? I didn't see that. Was that from a trade earlier? Or no, couldn't be compensatory. So, okay, let's move on. Joe Mixon. Now, I could have made this my Jackass of the Week, but because he's not really, quote, according to his sister, and according to the police, there's no arrest and he's not really involved. But let me get into it. According to Fox 19 in Cincinnati, sheriff's deputies entered the home of running back Joe Mixon in Hamilton County, Ohio, early last Tuesday morning in response to shots fired by a 911 call. No arrests have been made. A juvenile was reportedly taken to the hospital with minor injuries. It's unclear how he sustained those injuries. Huh? Wait a minute. If there's shots fired and a juvenile has injuries, but they're not sure how the injuries happened, what? Was it ricochet? Still from a bullet. Did the guy just fall out of an injury? I mean, I don't know. It just seems weird. Their shots were fired. You got a juvenile that's injured, but they don't know how he was injured. Strange. Okay. Mixon's sister, Shalonda, told police that Joe wasn't involved in the shooting. Last February, charges of aggravated menacing were dropped against him, which The menacing was shots fired over his girlfriend's head. Wow. Oh, no, excuse me. I take it back. I'm sorry. My apology. Not shots fired. Pointed a gun at her and said she should be shot. I'm sorry. That's what, my apologies. He did not fire, but he threatened to fire. And those charges were dropped. His future on the team is unclear based on his current salary situation and this investigation. Wow. Joe Mixon, Cincinnati Bengals. They were just in the playoffs this past season. And he gets into a second incident. Now, his sister said that he was not directly involved with the shooting. Well, who the heck was? It's his house. Who was there? Did somebody just show up with a gun? And if they did, why? And if they didn't just show up with the gun, how did this so-called shooting take place if it wasn't by Joe Mixon? I don't know, guys. This guy, he just does not sound like a very upstanding kind of guy. He doesn't. And if his future is done in the NFL / Cincinnati Bengals, does the NFL keep him in? Does Cincinnati Bengals keep him on a team if they let him go? If they release him, does he go to another team? I certainly don't want him on the Broncos with this track record. None whatsoever. I don't want disruption in the locker room. We talked about that the very first segment. We don't want disruption in the locker room. We've had that the last several years. We don't need to bring a cancer into the locker room. But man, I mean, why can't these guys just keep their freaking nose clean? Why can't they do the right thing? They hang around the wrong people. They invite the wrong clientele, whatever. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Glenn said Joe Mixon is in the news way too much for bad reasons. Like, amazing after he got another chance after punching that woman in college. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that one. That's a whole nother thing. I mean, how do these guys keep staying in the NFL? Well, I know why. Because they're good at what they do. They're the best at what they do. And money talks. You're not going to want to take out a star player out of the NFL if he's bringing in you bank and your team's prospering. But at some point in time, the NFL has to put their foot down and say, enough's enough. Enough is enough. Yeah, we want to win, but we don't want to win this way. We don't want to have these kind of guys on the team. Unbelievable. I just don't understand. That's, like I said, I could have brought this as my Jackass of the Week. I'm not going to. I do have one following here in just a second. But I don't understand. I mean, I know the old saying, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. And I'm talking about the Jackass of the Week coming up. If you're not cheating, you're not trying. But to me, that is just frustrating because it's not right. It's not correct. It's just like I teach my grandson, don't try and cheat in the game because you're not legally winning, or not legally. You're not legitimately winning. It's cheating. You're not doing it the right way. Do it the right way. Be honest. Why are you doing stupid things that will put you in jail or kick you out of the NFL? Something that you love and you worked your college days for or your Pop Warner days for. Why are you throwing it away? Being stupid. I just don't get it whatsoever. ATG Nat Blake said Bronco Bill favorite movie of all time. Wow. Favorite movie of all time. It all depends. If it's sports, it'd be Caddyshack. If it's fictitious, probably Smokey and the Bandit. Smokey and the Bandit. If it's, I don't know. I like if it's science fiction, probably The Final Countdown. Where World War II, the Nimitz World War II ship went into the Nimitz went back into World War II. It's a time warp thing. Yeah, I'd probably say that. Oh my gosh, Glenn. No. No, that's not my favorite one. My second favorite. No, don't tell my wife. No, just kidding. No, I've never seen that movie. I swear, guys, I've never seen that movie. No, that's not it. I guess I don't understand hillbilly. I guess so. Okay, let's go into. That's right. The jackass of the week. Okay. The Houston Texans were docked their original 5th round pick in 2023 and fined $175,000 for salary cap violations. The NFL announced on this past Thursday. The NFL said in 2020, Houston provided then Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson with, oh boy, undisclosed compensation in the form of a membership at an alternative athletic facility. What? Wait a minute. Remember going back, guys, remember Deshaun Watson had that inappropriate sexual contact with, quote, therapy sessions, like back rubs and things like that. And the Texans provided an undisclosed compensation in the form of a membership at an alternative athletic facility? Is that where it all started? The Houston Texans were the one that granted Deshaun Watson his own undisclosed place? What did I say it was? Let me get back here. An alternative athletic facility? Like a gym? Like a workout place where nobody's there by the Houston Texans to even know what's going on? There's a lot more underneath this proverbial Houston Texans rug that they're sweeping under. There's a lot more they're sweeping under than that's going to come out, hopefully. I'm glad they got fined. I'm glad they got their draft pick taken away. Too bad they didn't get their first round taken away. Again, I know people like to cheat. People like to do what they can to get an edge. To me, cheating is wrong, period. 100% wrong. I don't care what people, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. Bull crap. You can try as hard as you can and do the right thing. Just do the right thing. Good. I'm glad Houston got slapped. The problem with what I have is this. Deshaun Watson is out of the picture of this. He's over in Cleveland. He's probably laughing his freaking head off, going, that's what Houston gets. No, that's what Deshaun Watson gets to. He should be fine. He should be kicked. I know he was out for a year. Big freaking deal. Slap on the wrist. Who cares? Well, this guy cares because it's not right. It's not right. And I'm glad Houston got slapped, so to speak. They should have been hit harder. Absolutely hit harder. But at least they got hit. And hopefully, it hurts them in the pocketbook. It hurts them in their draft choice. It hurts them in, down the line. But $175,000 to these billionaires is nothing. It's like me pulling out a $2, a $1 or $2 bill or a $5 bill out of my wallet. It's not going to hurt me. Here's your fine, $5, big deal. To them, it's $175,000. No big freaking deal. The NFL's got to get tougher. They have to get tougher in these issues. Absolutely have to. Because the integrity is on the line. The NFL's integrity. The NFL's teams are integrity. I don't like, I would never like, okay, I'll be happy if we won any Super Bowl, but I don't want to win it on a bad penalty call or a bad call period or whatever. I want to win legitimately. I want to win because we earned it. And I know that if there's a bad penalty call, basically you earned it because you created. I don't want that. I don't want that. I want it like it was in Super Bowl 32. Denver earned that one. They earned that one with Terrell Davis. And we won Super Bowl 50 because we earned it on the defense of Von Miller and the rest of the defensive team. We earned it. There was no call that, Denver shouldn't have won that game because that was a bad call. No, I don't want that. Just like last Super Bowl. People say it was a bad call. Yes, I think it was too. It should not have been called. I would hate to win it like that. Would I like to win a Super Bowl every time? Absolutely. But I want to win it legitimately. I want to win it honestly. I want to win it fairly. I don't want to win it because of cheating of this, that, or the other. And this, for the Houston Texans, is an absolute another blemish on their already sorry team. Already sorry team. Jackass of the week? Yeah. Why? Because they're stupid. That's why. They went and did a stupid move. Granted that, didn't think they were going to get caught. And then these women turn up and all of a sudden they got egg on their face. Well, good. You deserve it. There you go. All right. I'm going to get into a Von Miller here in just a moment. Yeah. Watson was accused of dozen of massage therapists. Absolutely. But the thing is, if Houston's going to provide an undisclosed, let me bring this back up here again. Let me read this one more time. Texas quarterback was given undisclosed compensation in a form of a membership at an alternative athletic facility. Why would you do that? If you're an organization and a team, why in heaven's name would you do that? I mean, you talk about stupid. You talk about opening Pandora's box. I mean, putting a wolf to watch the hen house. That's stupid. Unbelievable. Just unbelievable. Glenn, yes, absolutely nailed it on the head. Watson shouldn't be fined. He should be in jail. Absolutely. And that's another thing that bothers me. Why in heaven's name are these guys being protected? Well, I said it earlier, and I'll say it again. They're being protected because they bring the NFL money. They bring in the fans. They are the face of the franchise. They are doing what normal human beings like you and me and whatever can't do. They're on the NFL stage, and the NFL is productive, and the NFL is money. And they're not going to want to throw that away. That's why he's not in jail. That's why there's that's why these guys get away with it. I mean, it's all across sports. Every sport has their top guys. Every sport has their top guys. And when the top guys retire, the next one come up. Tom Brady retired. Guess who's right in line? Patrick Mahomes. Deshaun Watson. Just saying. Bad guys finish. Bad guys or good guys finish last. Yeah, bad guys finish on top because that's what they want. They want the guys that are out there. They want the name out there. Absolutely, that's who they want. Okay. Wait a minute, Glenn. What are you saying here? Glenn says you can't blame Houston for his behavior. They are culpable because they gave him the NDAs to use, but he's a grown man and should be held responsible. Absolutely. But why feed gasoline to the fire? If Deshaun Watson has that type of attitude, mentality, drive, warpness, whatever it is, if he's got that, and Houston has any inclination of that, they cannot provide him an off-site exclusive place. You can't do that. You're adding fuel to the fire. What in heaven's name are you doing? Should Houston organization be held somewhat responsible? Absolutely. Absolutely. And the reason why I say that is because it's just like a boss. It's like a manager in baseball. It's a coach in football. You're held responsible because you are the top dog for that team. General manager, owner of a building, owner of an organization, a manager of a department. So you're going to be held responsible for your people underneath you because that's why you're put there. Well, the organization of the Houston Texans, they need to be responsible for Deshaun Watson. They need to know what he's like. Maybe, okay, on the flip side, I'll give you this, Glenn. On the flip side, maybe they didn't know because the women didn't come forth. And, of course, Deshaun Watson ain't going to say anything. Why would he say anything? So maybe it's because the women didn't come forth until later on. And, okay, I'll give you that when it comes to the Houston Texans. But ultimately, in my opinion, they're still responsible to some degree because they provided that convenient spot and that convenient place for Deshaun Watson to be. All right. I'm going to move on to Von Miller. According to 9 News Denver, this is interesting. I'd really like to get your guys' thoughts on this. According to 9 News Denver, former Broncos great Von Miller said he wants to become a general manager in the NFL and build a Super Bowl team winning team after his playing days are over and done. Wow. My thought is this. Von Miller to be a general manager of any team, I think he would be great. Von Miller knows the game. He knows how to play the game. He understands the game. But I'm not quite sure, though, general manager, being on the defensive side of things, if he would be a really good general manager in the entire scope of a team. Special teams, head coach, offensive coordinator. Well, head coach would pick those, but, head coach, signing offensive players. He'd probably be really good in signing defensive players. I'm just wondering. What do you guys think? Do you think Von Miller would be a really good general manager and a Super Bowl caliber general manager to take and build his team into a Super Bowl championship winning team? I don't know. I think he'd be really good at scoping out and seeing, who to sign on the defensive side because that's what he plays. I don't know if he would be completely engaged in all of the aspects of hiring a head coach and what it takes to get players for the offense and special teams. I don't know. But that's interesting. That was per 9 News out of Denver that Von Miller is looking or would love to be a general manager on a team, on an NFL team, and to build a team into a Super Bowl winning championship team. Would you guys, let me go a step further. Would you like to see Von Miller as a Broncos general manager? Would you like to see him? John Elway was the general manager. That didn't really work out too well. You have George Payton now, and he never played, as far as I know, he never played in the NFL. And he's really good general manager. Would Von Miller be a really, really good general manager? I don't know. I don't know. It's interesting though. That's just an interesting thought pertaining to Von Miller. I thought that was wow. Wow. I did not know that, Glenn. Von was shadowing general managers at the combine this year. Woo, well, there you go. Okay, let me throw this out. Does that mean that Von Miller is really only looking to play one more year? Remember, he got injured this year, guys, and he may not come back 100% with the Buffalo Bills. So could this 2023 season be his last year? And he's starting to get a jump on what general managers are looking at, how they conduct their business, how they go about scouting or looking at players or talking to people or whatever. Could this be Von Miller's last year in the NFL, and then he wants to jump right into being a general manager somewhere? That's interesting. And I'm just wondering, do general managers have to start somewhere else? Like maybe, I don't know, assistant general manager, assistant coach, to kind of get the insight and the feel of what it takes to be a general manager? I don't know. I really don't. that is extremely interesting. That what Glenn brought up, that Von Miller is shadowing general managers at the combine this year. Wow. Well, good. Hats off to Von Miller. Whatever he wants to do is awesome to me. I don't care. I really don't. He's won 2 Super Bowls. He's won 1 with the Denver Broncos. He's been outstanding. Why not pursue general managership? Why not? I mean, that would be great. I think that would be really exciting to follow. I think that'd be good. Again, Glenn, I agree. I love that Vaughn wants to do this. I think it'd be great. I absolutely do too. I think it'd be outstanding. Why not? I mean, if he's got the love for the game and the passion for the game and the energy for the game, and he just wants to take it off the field and go into general managership, why not? I mean, who knows? Maybe Von Miller could be another great general manager that just, turns a mediocre team or an average team into a dynasty. Just hope he doesn't do it for the Chargers or the Chiefs or the Raiders. Absolutely not. But, oh my gosh. I mean, I'm going to be watching this. I really am going to be watching this because I really want to see what Von Miller can do. Maybe I have to get a jersey that on the back, instead of saying Miller, it might say Miller GM. I mean, why not get a custom-made jersey that says Miller GM? Be pretty cool. All right. This is interesting. D Generation X says, or he is interested in getting into the X NFL, or you mean the XFL, as a team owner and then move into the NFL. That could be a possibility. Absolutely could be a possibility. That's what I was saying. Does it start as a assistant GM or assistant coach or somewhere down the line where he can get some experience and then move into general manager? I don't know. I don't know. It's interesting, but I'm definitely going to keep watching this because I think it really is something that Von Miller is going to be really, really good at. All right. I'm going to wrap this show up. I know it's been long, guys, and thanks for tuning in tonight. I really appreciate it. I've got a new segment that I don't have the intro hasn't been created yet, but I'm calling it the Mile High Salute. So until I get the intro, I'm going to be just doing this, and it's going to be a feel-good story or feel-good segment at the end of the show. I mean, you go through all of these. I go through all these things of players leaving, players being traded, injuries, people that pass away. I want to get into something that ends the show on a really good, feel-good story. And I'm calling it the Mile High Salute because I'm saluting these guys for doing above and beyond for various reasons. And it's not always going to be NFL related. It could be any sports. It could be anything. Anything that somebody does in the community that is worthy of the Mile High Salute. Okay? Here it is. Not the Mile High Club. Glenn, not the Mile High Club. That's something totally different. I'm not doing the Mile High Club. No. This is called, guys, until I get the intro, I'm going to do it this way. And so here is the Mile High Salute. All right. KJ Osborne. According to Pro Football Talk, Vikings receiver pulled a man from a burning car last Sunday. People are getting a glimpse of the kind of man Osborne is. Osborne tweeted the following, and I quote, "Most of the time, the saying goes wrong place, wrong time. But this time, I believe God had me and us at the right place at the exact time. Last night, myself and 3 absolute heroes helped save a man's life by rescuing him from a vehicle up in flames after he had a bad crash. I'll leave you with this, guys. God is real. He will send angels to be camped around you and provide you with his grace and mercy." End quote. It's easy to do the right thing. This is from Pro Football Talk. It's easy to do the right thing when there's no risk. It's a lot harder when you put yourself at risk. 100%. Wow. You know what? I don't know much about KJ Osborne on the Vikings, but I will tell you this. Whether he's in his early 20s, mid-20s, played in the NFL for 10 years, 12 years, whatever it is, when you're willing to put your own life, your own living life on the line to save somebody that you don't even know from a burning vehicle, along with 3 other people that is mentioned here, and you're willing to put your own life in jeopardy to save another man's life, is heroic in and of itself. But when you're an athlete, and I'm not taking anything away from anybody who does this ordinarily, but what I'm saying is he's an athlete. He makes his living playing football as a wide receiver for the Minnesota Vikings. If he gets burned and scarred or injured or maimed or his legs broke, whatever, by doing this out of the kindness of his heart, being a human being, doing the right thing to save another man's life, putting his own life in jeopardy and his career in jeopardy. And he does it without even reservation. He does it without thinking. He even said, a lot of people say wrong place, wrong time. He's saying, no, we're at the right place at the right time. Because that's what this man needed. He wasn't thinking about his own life. He wasn't even thinking about his own career and what if he got injured? What if he couldn't play football again? What if he couldn't make a living? What if? He didn't think about it. And when the person does the right thing at the right time with no regard for their own safety, but doing it out of human consideration, human dignity, human life, to do the correct, right thing, deserves the absolute mile-high salute. KJ Olsen, wow. Talk about a hero. Yeah, maybe you've done wonderful things for the Vikings as a receiver. Maybe you've made remarkable catches on certain critical plays. Maybe you've done these remarkable things on the field. But in my opinion, after reading that and seeing that article and seeing the picture of the car that was in flames, you put your own life and your own career on hold because you wanted and needed to do the right thing, to me, speaks volumes way, way, way beyond what you can ever do on the NFL football field. KJ Osborne, once again, you are the very first honor of the Mile High Salute. Thank you so much for what you did. You are truly an American hero and an absolute hero to not only that man, but his family, whatsoever. Absolutely. That's awesome. Great. Glenn says, enjoyed tonight, Bill. Have a great Sunday, and I hope everyone at home is okay. Everyone's fine, Glenn. Thanks so much for being here. Yeah, everything was fine. It was just a family situation. My wife needed me to be on standby, and everything, nothing with my wife. It was just a family issue that she was the middle person to, and I was there for her backup. So that's why I couldn't do last night. I was not even focused. But thanks a lot, guys, for being in the chat. Before I get out of here, I do want to say thanks to everybody that was in the chat. We got Ray, we got Avatar, we got Glenn, Bubba, Madungus, D-Generation X. Who else? I know we got somebody else here I'm missing. Let's see. Did I miss somebody? Oh, yeah. Keith O'Donnell, Clayton Huron. Appreciate you guys. All your comments, all your support. Definitely 100%. Thanks, everybody, for taking their Saturday evening to be part of the show. Really appreciate it. I'll be back here next Friday for sure. And really appreciate it. Thanks so much. That's it, guys. That's all I have. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. If you haven't, please do so. I myself would appreciate it. And the MHRT network in general will appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thanks for everybody in the chat. Like I mentioned earlier, really do appreciate it. I've mentioned this many, many times. Guys, it would not be as great of a show, as enjoyable of a show, and as engaging if you guys were not here. Really, really do appreciate it. Thanks so much for the dialogue. Thanks so much for your comments. It makes this show all that much better. Before I get out of here, real quick, Monday night, this is Saturday. So Monday night, we're going to be doing the neighborhood. It'll be Madungus Creepy and myself. We're going to be doing the Avalanche neighborhood. Forgot who they're playing. It might be Montreal. I don't know. I forget. Anyways, it's going to be the neighborhood on Monday night, Avalanche neighborhood. And then on also on Monday is going to be the Cluster Puck. That is hosted by Nick and Britt. They talk about Avalanche, and that goes live every 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then on Tuesday, we have the 5280. That goes off live every 5, 6, 7, and 8. That's followed immediately by the No Nonsense and Whiskey. That follows the 5280 right after their show. And then on Wednesday, we have the Wild Wild West. That features a fan from every AFC West team: Broncos, Raiders, Chargers, and Chiefs. Check it out. They're going to be talking about the upcoming draft as well as other topics that they may have. That goes live every 4:30, 5:30, 6:30, and 7:30. And then again, on Friday, this show, Broncos Breakdown, goes live every Friday, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Thanks a lot again, guys, for participating. Really appreciate it. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your Saturday. And don't forget to move your clocks forward in those states that go on to daylight savings time. That, again, guys, thanks so much. Really appreciate it. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend. We will talk to you on Monday with the neighborhood, and then on Friday on Broncos Breakdown. Till then, guys, have a great night. Talk to you then. Bye-bye.